Good evening, folks, and welcome to the official art community. This is Fortunate coming at you. It is now December 1st, which means our 31st podcast. We are here with you again. We are very excited, just as we are every other night. Um, Gonna pass the floor over to our wonderful friend, our amazing founder, Mr. Atlas.
Thank you for the introduction, Fortunate. And hey, folks, welcome to ARK. This is our 31st podcast. My name is Atlas, and we have quite a lot of updates for all of you. We've been sitting around to the groups of investors here. We've been here in our chat as well. And I'm going to give you a couple little updates and then let Mr. Brett Norden come and dive deeper into the decisions and how we're moving forward with the launch. Tomorrow we're going to be having at 3 p.m. EST, 9 p.m. UTC, a Twitter Spaces AMA with Rude Crypto Lounge, somebody that we've done a lot of business with before, a friend of the ARK family, and really the first person that came to me and said, "Hey, missed out on drip. Can we do something really, really special?" And he knows my work ethic, and we actually just got out of a meeting with him and the other syndicate founders. So really excited about that. We're also planning a live AMA on YouTube with Mr. James Pelton on December 13th. And that'll give us 2 days to really get the most, I think, out of that AMA over there. He has quite a large following. He understands the ROI DApp space. And his people just hounded the hell out of us for a couple of weeks. SK Crypto K introduced me to him, I think, back in February, March. But we didn't have the right developers and Solidity coders and everybody to accomplish this. We didn't even have Brett Norden on the team yet as well, who's really been the heart and soul of the system and making sure that it absolutely can stand a test of time. So really excited about that, guys. Looking forward to it. There's going to be also some extra services we're getting, some tweet threads, and we're planning some pressure. We want to get this launch of the token and the whole system really, when it goes live and folks are able to come and buy ARK token, that will go directly into their ARK Vault account. We want to make sure that we're going to really succeed and get some folks excited and wanting to be here with us on this long, amazing journey that we're embarking on. So with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Brett Norden. Please, sir, if you can come tell us a bit about the updates and what we've been cooking up here for the folks as we're giving them an extra week really to get themselves organized, which is really had a fantastic response from the investment community.
Yeah, thanks, Atlas. Yeah, I think overall, we ended up pushing everything out essentially a week, but the original dates we had were just going to be, I think, way too tight for everyone. And the big reason is that we needed everybody to deposit their pre-sale NFTs into the contract. And I think we're less than 50% still of investors have done that. And in order for us to be able to build out the downline referral networks, that we would have to have everybody in by December 5th, which is only a few days from now. And we just started to realize, this isn't going to go well. If everybody's not in the system, we can't build those referral downlines and then give everybody a view of those downlines in a timely manner so that they can end up buying their legacy NFTs and the bond LPs. So this was kind of necessary on a few different levels. But by pushing it out to having the deadline for depositing your pre-sale NFTs on the 9th, that now gives us plenty of time to finish up the pre-sale. And we've moved the pre-sale date to the 7th. So that gives everybody a little bit more time. If they have referral links going out in YouTube videos and articles that we have for our contests that are going on right now, you'll be able to benefit from the remaining pre-sale NFTs. Sorry about the background noise, guys. Let me see if I can move here.
Well, you have to tell us what was that. That sounded fantastic.
Yeah, it was a Jeep CJ5.
Oh,
I was
nice.
outside. The neighbor of mine just took off.
Oh,
But
great.
anyway, so yeah, so the pre-sale date's going to be finishing up on the 7th. And so you'll have, if you purchase and wait till the 7th, assuming that we have some pre-sale NFTs left, you'll have a couple days still to deposit those into the to claim them and deposit them into the ARK Vault, basically through our DApp. And then at that same time, everybody that's been depositing those has a chance, as Atlas mentioned, to update the referrer address that's associated with the wallet that those NFTs are in. So once you deposit, you'll be able to change the referrer address starting on December 2nd. So if everybody can start loading in their pre-sale NFTs on the 2nd, you'll be able to go back and take a look at what the referrer address is associated with that wallet, and then you could update it at that time. We have, as I mentioned, we also pushed out the article writing and video contests. So those will extend out until the day after launch, which is the deadline for it is the day of launch, which is the 15th. But then we'll draw all the winners on the 16th. So I know that's a lot of different dates moving in parallel there, but it should give everybody plenty of time to prepare, take a look and see what their teams look like. And then on the 9th, also, we are starting the sale of the legacy NFTs and the bond LPs. The referral downline trees are going to become available on the 12th. So 3 days after we start the sale of the legacy NFTs and bond LP, you'll be able to view your referral network and then see if you were waiting on that information to make a decision about legacy NFT or bond LPs, then you'll have time to do that before we launch on the 15th. And then when we go live, all those rewards will get distributed into the ARK Vault account, and everybody should be off and running. So we can't wait to get through this process. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of behind the scenes time discussions, coding, all this exception management, the DMs and all of the stuff related to the pre-sale. Can't wait to get through with that and have, a big launch success, and then have steady as she goes kind of atmosphere going on. This is it's more chaotic than people might know. There's a lot of going on behind the scenes just related to the pre-sale, not even to the the finished product. So yeah, it's a fun time, exciting time, but looking forward also to a smooth launch.
Thank you, Brett. Absolutely. The community has spoken and they've been heard. We want everyone to really have a chance and opportunity to organize themselves, as we know they're going to be bringing other investors, friends, family into ARK, and it's absolutely important that they get the opportunity. We had assumed that by just telling folks, make sure that you do it correctly, that it would happen, but we have to also take into account. I mean, our public one sold in 2 minutes, and there were folks like really got left out in the cold, and the ones that were there seizing the day, it's understandable they made some mistakes. We had one guy that used his own wallet and referred himself. That creates an issue in the system that we have to clear up for everything to go and launch. At the same time, we're understanding that we're looking at a lot of growth and a lot of folks coming in here with hard-earned money. I mean, the majority of our investors I think are not millionaires or people that have won the lottery. They work hard for their funds, and we need to ensure that just not going on confidence of the background of our coders. I mean, one of the members, Mr. Jan, on our team was the head of IT security for the country of Holland. He's got 2 companies that build mobile apps for hedge funds and banks. I mean, we've got amazing folks, but these are complex systems, many contracts blending in, working together. And we're doing a bounty program to bring some of the top hackers that know how to work with Solidity and smart contracts, and reward them from, pretty much trying to beat the brakes off of the contracts. Because that down the line, somebody will try. I mean, people have already tried to come, to ARK and DDoS attack us, and that was expected. And what they got was was a loss because it costs money to do something like that, and it kind of whoop ass really really said back to them. So we understand that it is our responsibility to ensure that, beyond a CERTIC, audit, which we've seen so many times, guys. Let's get real. You've seen CERTIC audits and contracts get exploited and millions of dollars just vanishing. You cannot sit back under that fake security blanket and think that you're okay because you passed with flying colors a CERTIC audit. So, it's something that we take very seriously. It's something that we need to provide not only for our investors, but also for ourselves, our reputations, our names. I mean, I've got a gentleman sitting here from DeFi, Bridge DeFi, Mr. Air Fryer. This gentleman's in my home. People know where I live. Quite a few folks know a lot about me, who I am, and it's a responsibility to my friends, to my family members as well, not only the investors here, because they're going to be here with us. They're investing with us. People I've done business with in the real world for many years. So we take it serious. It has to be done correctly. And we are not going to cut any corners when it comes to security. It's just something that can happen. So that's something that's also going to afford us this extra week. CERTIC, was today supposed to be finalized. We're still going over some details with them. And again, you don't want to rush security. We want to make sure that everything that they're seeing and we're seeing, we've even picked up a secondary audit company doing all of the contracts to be extra safe. I don't know if there's been other projects that have done the same, but we're holding ourselves to a higher standard, guys. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. And it's extremely vital and important. The culture of who we are, what we do, and we're proud of the work. I think all of us here on the team are very proud of the way that the pre-sale contracts and the front end, the UI is I think is very professional, not glitchy. There's a standard here that we have to produce, and it's excellence and safety and ease of use. That all has to be done correctly. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding that, or maybe just something related to ARK that you want to know about? All right. So we got T Money. Hope you're doing well this evening. I know you were one of the people in our DMs that had an issue when you made your purchases of your NFTs. So I'm glad that this is affording you the time to fix it and get everything situated correctly. Great to see you, James. Oh, we have an Eternal Cryptominus here as well. Eternal, if you want to ask a question, really the best person here at ARK is Mr. Brett Norden regarding the NDV and CWR and airdrops. I don't know if you're in a position that you are able to unmute your mic and ask the questions. If you are, this is a perfect time to discuss that.
Yeah, pretty much you've answered all the questions that I've had about it, and I definitely have liked the answer so far. And I'm not ashamed to say that I'm one of those people that messed up the referrals, so I'm grateful for that extra opportunity as well as the space to add a little bit more money towards my NFT collection.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. That sounds really really quite bullish over there, Eternal. Great to have you on board, man.
Yeah, man, this has definitely given me some time to reflect on my strategy and adjust appropriately. So if I would have jumped right in already, then, I would have had a disassociated team, and I would have not been in line with the person that introduced me to it. And, it would have been a lot of chaos. So I was definitely one of the people rushing to try to get in. And because of that, not pasting things and sending it, so I'm grateful for the opportunity. Looking forward to the future.
So much, Eternal. Listen, we're human. We make mistakes. Look, I've met so many times, copied an address or something and then pasted it, and then realizing, because I always have to double check things. Hey, wait, you didn't actually correctly copy the right one. You got the old one is still in the in the memory of your copy, right, on the machine. So little things like that. That's how I think that person also referred themselves. They're putting their wallet. Maybe they were on an Excel sheet, and you know there's a lot of folks that it happened to. It actually became a bit of a situation where there were so many requests that if we wanted to just do it manually, we would have been here till February. And just a process that you also have to take into consideration, that just because someone's sending you a DM and giving you a wallet address, that doesn't mean they're the actual legitimate owner of that wallet. And being in crypto, we understand that some people can play games, switch things around and take advantage of a team that I guess doesn't have experience. So part of our sort of manual tech support ticket that we were setting up was to create a system where the person that created that order, that had a legitimate situation, that it just wasn't that they wanted to switch teams last minute, but had a legitimate mistake, that they would have to come in and verify through a transaction that they actually owned that wallet to change a referral, just from a straight fair security standpoint that we had to do, which I mean, it took our coder literally 2 minutes to make it. So now we have to just do the back end, and this is what you guys are going to be actually using, that same contract, to go ahead and make those referrals. And in the spirit of our coding here of Mr. Green, the transaction to change your referrals just costs 3 cents, which is fantastic. And there's been a lot of attention to detail on taxes here at ARK that you're going to really feel, you're really going to notice, especially on a multi-year strategy or multi-wallet strategy. It adds up quite a lot through time. So the savings that our investors are going to see here, I hope that they maybe notice and appreciate, because we want to ensure that everybody just really gets the most optimum return on investment, and a part of investing here, and especially when you're doing these daily actions every 24 hours. Tax is really gas is what I mean. The actual gas fees are very low because the contracts were coded in a way that you're not having to jump through several transactions to accomplish one task. It's more direct. There are some things that obviously have to go through a protocol of interaction, and sometimes multiple, but where we've been able to really be efficient on a gas basis is pretty much everywhere. And we hope you get to see that. And again, thank you for the vote of confidence and interest, Eternal, here. For those of you folks that don't know him, he's a person that's very experienced in DeFi, and especially in the ROI DApp community. So pleasure to have him here. Sometimes we look around, and me personally, I'm very, very impressed and humbled that folks that really understand the space have seen the difference, understand that ARK is really put together in a very different way, from our fantastic work that Brett Norton has done in the system, the white paper. I mean, there's not a single line that's come from anywhere in the space, but from him. And you're looking at the code that's being written here, absolutely everything from scratch. We have a genius superstar coder, and our front end guy Alex. The quality of his work is again super secure and very seamless, not buggy. Gordy with his design. I mean, it's a fantastic team here, guys, and we're built much differently from an investment standpoint. The mechanisms, the culture, fairness of how these contracts are really put together to ensure stability. We are paying, I think on most systems, half of what they're paying. But I think at this point, all I hear screaming from people is safety and sustainability more than anything. They want something that they can really get behind, invest, and sit back. If they want to be passive, they can. If they want to be, someone that goes out there and turns this into a business, writes articles, gets on YouTube, goes to barbecues with friends or family, and really takes this seriously and puts the work in, the success is really there. But they need that assurance. They need to understand that decisions here are made by investors. The DAO is a very important component, especially in these times where folks are feeling that they're not being heard, and bad decisions affect their investment. A lot of folks really have invested in a way, planning for the future, for that passive income, having the patience to sit there and sacrifice, and to see that just really go against their vision, their financial goals, their personal um, wants and needs is it's something that we understand. It's really sad, and I've seen a couple of people in this past couple days really just be kind of down, and it's just sad. So we understand that for a lot of folks looking at ARK, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to take one last chance. This is my last hope. And they've taken the time. They're really analyzing it. They're not FOMOing in just because somebody told them. They're really doing their research, and I think that's a responsibility for all of us. So look, quite fantastic. Maybe a year ago, nobody would have been here listening to us, but I think that folks are understanding that with the global economic uncertainty that's happening, everyone understands that gas is more expensive, cost of living, food, everything has changed, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or 6 months from now or a year from now. We're hopeful of going through this and getting through this, and I mean that's the purpose of the ARK, that safe passage to get us through, and understanding that sometimes if you're too stressed out, if you're too worried about your investment, you probably need to understand that you're way over leveraged. You've invested too much. You shouldn't, be sitting there, not being able to breathe when you're looking at a chart or something that you're involved in. Lower it. That's one of the great things about ARK. You don't have to invest a lot. If you have the foresight and you have the patience, even being passive, you can do very well here. If you don't want to reinvest some of your gains to stay at the optimum level, and you go down to 1%, that's a win for everyone to be able to achieve that. So, the folks that want to contribute, that want to support the system, it's balanced. You can do that. I know that in the real world, my experiences in business, that if I have a business that's giving me a great rate of return, I've never had a business that I haven't had to reinvest some capital, sometimes minimal, sometimes a lot. Or maybe I want to expand with a satellite office in Asia, and I could, triple those gains. It's part of business, because we had a couple people, but wait, I can't just sit there and just drain forever at that most optimum level. Well, no, sir. No, you can't. We have to have a balanced system, and you're able to just coast right on through and never invest a single, dime again into it, and do extremely well with a very small amount. It is purposely built that way, and for those folks that want to contribute more, for those folks that want to buy the legacy NFTs, they're taking on more risk. They're also getting more rewards, but at the same time, it is balanced, it is level. They're not going to be able to take advantage of the little guy that comes in, with $50, $40, and it's going to sit there and not compound his way. He's going to follow the 1-to-1 strategy. He's going to pay himself today and he's going to reinvest tomorrow. And every other day, he's going to have an opportunity to get that return on investment back in his pocket, put food on the table. After he ROIs, he's sailing with us, doing very well. And just having the patience to manage the investment, understanding that there's a lot of folks that are going to go out there and contribute. There's going to be a lot of Brad asses out there. I mean, Brad, in our phase 1 and 30, he brought 30 people who had never touched crypto ever in their life to us in a week. Sat there, helped them to understand how to get MetaMask and, open a crypto.com account. We're on Chronos. Brad, you want to talk a little bit about that? You remember those days?
Oh mate, how can I forget those days? Wow, that was the busiest 2 weeks of my life, I think. Just had had meetings every single day. Each new person that heard about it, wanted to know about it, and because they were non-crypto people, I was driving to their homes and sitting them down, explaining the whole system, and then doing MetaMask, transferring fiat into crypto, and then over to the MetaMask, and yeah, I had to open multiple accounts for people, and writing down their seed phrase and saying, keep hold of that and don't lose it. And they were saying, "Oh, can't you keep hold of it for me?" And I was like, no, no. This is very important. You need to keep this somewhere very safe. Don't ever show anyone. And they, the whole process. But it was fun times. I really enjoyed it. It was a great entry point for myself into crypto, and meeting you and some of the rest of the team and everything else. It was really good times. We've actually got a couple of questions from the chat. I've been waiting for you to finish what you were saying. Shall I? Do you want me to read these questions out to you?
Please. Thank you.
No problem. Will ARK be partnering with Truth Seekers? They seem to be the flavour of the month right now. Also, regarding income streams, will you consider suggestions from the community? Is there an official way to put forward some projects for scrutiny?
Hold on, let me just answer the first part. Yeah, we know the people from Through Seekers. I don't know, their culture is a little kind of weird. It's not something that I personally think right now is our kind of investor, our target audience, because there's a whole kind of relationship. And I've seen them do, for example, they were involved with Hobbs. And I just don't think it fits, what we're doing here. Great set of folks. Have a lot of respect for them. But, we're heading in a different direction at this moment. Could you repeat the second part of the question?
Of course. Regarding income streams, will you consider suggestions from the community? Is there an official way to put forward projects for scrutiny?
We are mainly focused at this moment of not so much exposure to other crypto projects, especially in this sort of market where they're not like ARK purposely built for the bear. They're not an icebreaker that's going to go to the crypto winter, as some, I heard Joe at the water cooler saying the crypto winter the other day. We want to go for the safe, traditional investments in the real world. There's a lot of great opportunities that we have in mind. There's 2 that we've shared. So, at this point, there was only 1 sort of crypto project, 2 actually, with Bridge DeFi that we're looking at and we're interested. Well, most likely we'll take some small exposure, but again, that is not our decision. That's the decision of the DAO, the legacy NFT crew that's going to, provide those funds for those investments and are going to make the decisions. So we're being very careful of really who we get associated with, as far as, the crypto relationships, and if we're going to pick up some equity in other projects, we're open to it. But ideally, our main focus that we want to just right out of the gate go be able to tackle is really those external investments. And of course, that's all going to be subject to how much of a demand and how much capital we're able to raise through the legacy NFTs. What's the next question?
Just with the two from the chat. You covered both of them now, bro.
Okay, so let's go back to talking about your experience. Brett, did you want to add something? I see that you're muted.
Oh yeah, it's just the truth seekers thing keeps coming up. They haven't approached us ever, and we're more than open to talking with anybody in the space. So, we're if they want to come and present what they offer, because their service basically it's a security offering for crypto projects, and it's all of the kind of things that we're doing now with Certic and Driven and the hacker group and what you offering to the table in terms of security. But we're very open to having a discussion with them and finding out what their offering is. But they provide a service, so there's nothing to join or anything like that. It's a crypto project, so they have a token and they provide, like I mentioned, like auditing, doxing, security level management, those kind of things. So I think if our group, if we didn't have the security expert on board and weren't served by other organizations that can help us provide those things, I think we would be very open to working with someone else. But if anybody knows who they are, or if they want to come and talk to us about what they offer, that would be great. It keeps coming up, and I'm not sure why.
I know them.
That's
what I said before, Brett. I know them. I know, and they just send people constantly hounding. I know them very well. Yeah, they were involved with another project, Hobbs, and it's a sort of cross sort of platform thing, and it's really not at this stage what we're wanting to do.
Okay. I see it keep coming up. I don't know if it's just marketing people that keep poking in the chat about it, or if it's serious.
Yeah, they get rewards. They get rewards, and if you don't want to do business with them, they FUD you. So it's something that's kind of, like I said, not at this time. So, Brad, going back to manually, putting the MetaMask in people's computers and going through that whole process, and then having to wait 24 hours for them to be able to, even get those tokens they bought from crypto.com. How do you imagine, foresee, how do you envision really the process with our mobile app? If you had that back then, how much more effective and how much more time do you think that you would have been able to save, and how many more people would have been interested to see a very professional, mobile app product?
I mean, it's there's no question it would have saved a lot of time, would have been a lot easier. The net that you can cast is much bigger. It would I'm personally incredibly excited about the app, because I see the mobile app as an opportunity to introduce somebody to ARK every time you leave your home. I really think it'll be revolutionary. I can't wait for that. It's going to be fantastic. But in regards to the process, that the main thing is it breaks barriers, right? It alleviates the barriers that are in place for non-crypto people, especially. If you're trying to introduce somebody to something that they know nothing about, and you've got to talk about MetaMask, and like, these people didn't even know what BNB was. When first, it was quite funny. One of the people that I said BNB to, they literally thought I was talking about a bed and breakfast. Like, that's what they thought I was talking about. And some people have zero idea about crypto at all. So you're not just talking to them about ARK. You've got to talk to them about crypto.com and MetaMask. And they don't even understand the terms fiat, because to them it's just money. So all of these things suddenly disappear, and all you need to do is to talk about ARK, and it is so much simpler. The process in itself is so much simpler. I can't wait. I honestly see it as an opportunity every time you go out. You might be on your way to dinner, and you can talk to the cab driver, because cab drivers typically, they really like to talk, and you don't have to explain all this stuff to them that takes half an hour. You could just talk about ARK and the opportunity, and if they're interested, boom, in, done, really simple. So I think personally that is going to be one of the biggest things we bring to the table, and I'm really looking forward to it. I know that I personally will be able to introduce lots more people to ARK. Near enough everybody that I know is a non-crypto people. The crypto people I know are here in the chat. I met all you guys, and I don't know crypto people in the real world, but everybody, most people, I should say, understand that fiat is decaying, and that 0.5% you get in your bank over a year period does nothing for you. And there's plenty of people that want more money and want to make money. And the mobile app just gives you that opportunity to introduce them without all the barriers and the bells and the whistles. So I think it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait for it. And then there's the off ramping, which is a whole new ball game as well. But you couple those two things together, and for me, you got a winning formula. Once people are comfortable and you can talk about ARK and you can introduce people to it, which will happen, it will only be a matter of time before you understand everything in the white paper, and you've been in the system for X amount of time, and now you're a pro at talking about it, and you've got an app on your phone. How much do you want to invest? Bang, done. Wow. Just cannot wait for that. Fantastic.
Yeah, and the educational material, that it's going to be really high level. I mean, really just explaining to folks, what is DeFi? I mean, starting there, taking the middleman out of finance. Very basic, but being able to get folks to not get overwhelmed with information. Obviously, important of how ARK is built, and we're working on products that are just going to be simple for folks to kind of have training wheels when they come in here. And if they want to dig deeper and they want to learn more and they want to spend more time, they're going to be able to see, really under the hood is very robust and complex. And sometimes when you're talking to, an average person that's never, had MetaMask or anything to do with crypto, I was laughing. I had mute, but you cracked me up when you said B&B, and they thought it was like a B&B, a breakfast type of thing, right? Um, it's something that they can be intimidated. Generally, folks don't like complicated things. You're talking to an Uber driver. They just want to know, hey, how do I make money? How does this work? How much does it pay? What is the risk associated? And what are my responsibilities? And we need to be able to transcend and be able to provide information, obviously with a lot of responsibility, but at the same time not go too complex. I don't know if Brett, you want to talk a little bit about that, because I know you've been doing a lot of work in that whole part.
Yeah. So we're planning on having, these basic how-to instructional videos when people are onboarded, not only just to help them through, the wallet setups and getting into the system, but then also how to take advantage of the system once they're in, to be able to allocate new funds that are, that are coming. Maybe they come in and they just make a small investment in the ARK Vault. They don't know much about the referral reward system. They don't know much about the legacy NFTs, for example. So then we'll have, educational videos and also how-to articles and things that can help guide them through, where to put fresh capital, how to reinvest, effective strategies for managing their ARK once they withdraw it out of the ARK Vault. So that's really the goal for a lot of new crypto people. It's going to be a huge learning curve, and so we understand that. And so it's to take those small steps into a bigger world. As Brad mentioned, the on-ramp and the off-ramp, that will help, I think, simplify things a lot and make it much easier for them to manage a portfolio. it'll grow their opportunity. As they grow with the system, to grow their investment, we'll as we go, and we'll have to insert those into their portfolio and manage all of that through the web app, so that it's a very simple thing to manage, not a very complex system. So we're hoping to integrate as much as we possibly can to cut out all those steps that Brad mentioned, just to make it much simpler for people to get on and then get their investment back out. That's what the passive income play is all about.
Absolutely. I mean, there's even the concept of doing an education module for folks that want to learn more and get into, really the understanding of how the whole system works and how they're able to create the multi-wallet strategies, and how can you benefit from the legacy NFTs, and maybe even incentivizing them with a couple dollars, $5, $10 if you accomplish the whole tutorial, the whole module, right? So there's different ideas here to incentivize people to get more educated. The more they know, the more effective they're going to be able to be in managing their own investment, which is important to us. We want everyone here to get a win, as well as being able to communicate to other folks. And not everyone, has, I would say, the skill to talk about a complex system in a simple way, or the knowledge. And if they're very new, we have, Coach Bradass here that is more than ready to help your neighbor or your coworker who has a lot of questions, and just has a lot of information that they want to be able to understand and process. And he's here to walk them through, hold their hand through the whole process, and let them really make the best decision based on the data and information. And we encourage everyone to come. That's why we're not doing PooCoin ads or anything that would just attract folks that are looking for a tradable token. We're not a tradable token. I mean, you're not going to be able to even go to PancakeSwap. This is an investment system that is very particular to understanding how you're going to set yourself up and how you're going to be able to manage it. So very important to us that every investor, I mean, we did that with our phase one. It was education, podcast after podcast, being here, ready to answer. And just, I think really, really nice to be able to see when folks start to get it, and, the light bulb goes off in their head, and they're able to calculate. We're very happy that Dr. Kelly Snook did the ARK calculator, and just walking folks through that is in itself a task. Looking at that, I think a lot of folks would just be like, I don't even know where to put what. It's intimidating, understandable. I mean, my father's 73 years old, and I have not had the time to sit with him. There's so much work that we have to do here to explain to him the project. We've had a couple of conversations, but it's very confusing. And then I understand getting him to set up his MetaMask and passphrase and going through everything. I told him to have some patience. That first we got to make sure that our expert investors participate in the public and private round, and there will be a chance. I mean, we're going to go with a fantastic, dynamic range. We're not pegged, but we're gonna be, seeing our token, really go through its paces, and there's going to be, a lot of opportunity for folks to not have to worry about a price that's going too high, that's unsustainable, or a price that's going to lower and scare investors away. Right? We want that steady rate of return with a slight variable, depending on where price is at, but very controlled, very manageable, and just screaming, security, stability, and that's what we need for that long-term, process to really get us through. When the bull market comes, and I think we're also in a position to be able to pivot and look what advantages and upside, and what can we do better? What can we expand? What products can we incorporate? Having this fantastic team that's really here, just all in. Everyone is understanding this is not a small project or something that you just build and walk away from. It's something that has to continue to evolve. Innovation is one of the key factors here at ARK, and being able to adapt, to pivot, to really be able to grow is extremely important. Let's get this crypto. Dr. Marcel, how are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. Building the next printer and having fun with my new, let's say, Bluetooth box.
Oh, it finally arrived? The one you showed me? It's there?
Yeah.
Oh.
It came. It has like a few hundred watts of power. It weighs like 15 kilograms and puts out like 120 decibel of bass.
Boy, man, the neighbors. What are the neighbors going to say, Dr. Marcel?
I live very remote, the neighbors are like half a football field away, and I'm in the basement.
You mean the man cave? That's how I. Congratulations, man! I know. You like your technology and getting your hands on that. It sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of fun for the ears. But with that, man, that type of bass, you could feel it going through your whole body, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's basically like a professional PA box, but on Bluetooth and batteries. That's what you usually put on a on a rack and stack them up, and yeah. But in this case, it's portable.
And the 3D printer is that a new acquisition or one of the? I know you were working on one the other day. You showed me big one.
Yeah. I built a similar one, and I had to repair the first one because I didn't pay enough attention and had it plugged in and sparked somewhere. So I fried my motherboard, which I have to renew.
Did you hear about the ability starting tomorrow for investors to change their referral? With their NFTs and ARK. You're Syndicate founder, so you don't have to deal with that.
I saw that, but my referrals are set. So, and I'm not.
You're good. You're good to go, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic. For all your patience and support and friendship. Wonderful person, man. So glad to have you here on board with us, man.
Yeah, I think I will miss the daily podcast once it fades out a bit, because that's usually the time when I have time for myself. The kids are sleeping and I'm in my man cave doing stuff, and that's some kind of my soothing podcast.
Have you been trading again or not getting back into that for a bit?
Yeah, but carefully and not on FTX.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Bad experiences there. We know that. Good, man. Well, I'm glad you sound great, man. Happy to see you here tonight. Z's traveling and is not having good connection where he's at, so he's not here with us. But definitely missed, and NATO's missed. We got James. James, I hope you're doing okay. Do you have any questions or comments?
Hey, you guys can't. I'm so pumped up after listening to all this AMA. It's getting more and more excited. Really, can't wait for it to start.
Thank you so much.
especially with this kind of market.
With
Uh,
what?
especially with all this great project that's been failing. I was holding more than 20 different projects, and most of them failed. So I almost want to give up. I'm planning to retire actually in few months. So
That's beautiful, man. Well, look, I'm glad you've taken the time and done your due diligence and figured out what's different here. So many things are different and original and really built to last. So thank you for your vote of confidence, James. And as you can see, we're here, excited, working very hard, a fantastic team, and I can't wait to see you win, get your ROI, and not just grow, but really thrive here in our system and be able to sit back and enjoy the retirement and have this investment be a positive, one in your life and for your future, for your family.
yeah, especially because because I'm looking for a project which is really have a good portfolio, great community, and the developer. You guys are really sincere, honest, and open. That's what makes all of us so excited about this project.
Thank you.
I'm even planning even planning to try and get more NFT. Hey, do you think it really uh, a good idea not uh, to get it more now or after the launch?
Well, look, it's a decision that really is up to you. Obviously, the price of the NFTs that are available and still remaining, they're cheaper than our launch price. And you have to also take into consideration that the way that we do business here at ARK, all of the tokens that any investor has to buy, when they're ready to make their purchase, it goes into the ARK Vol account. So we're not going to see the volatility that's happening, especially on the sales, because James, I think you have experience and you see that, the private round people, the whitelist folks that got in, in the early beginning in projects over and over again, they dump, they sell, they get their X's and they go on to the next project. And we know that's just the law of the land. But we've prevented that from happening. No one will have tokens in their wallet that they could just go to PancakeSwap and sell it. They have to earn their tokens out. So that's part of the beauty of really the balance, the fairness, and the sustainability that we took care of it, from the beginning, from how the whole system was designed, so that we don't face those pressures. We want a stable, dynamic range of our price that is going to work. We're encouraging people to take one day, a payment, and then the next day reinvest into the system with the compounding, not to hyper compound, because that puts a lot of pressure, James, on the token price, the liquidity controller, the whole system. So we prefer that they get the ROI sooner, and then we have a more balanced flow in the system. So I can't tell you what to do with your investment. I can only point out the variables that I see, and that it's different than the way that pretty much every other project really operates. And I do take comfort, and I do take um, let's just say a confidence in that, because there's not a lot of open tokens. Generally, what they tell you, right, is buy the dip, because there's this huge dip. So people are expecting a huge dip because people are dumping their tokens. It's just how it goes over and over. So I don't foresee here having a dip, but I also want to tell you, we are not aiming to go to a very, very, very high price after launch. So that's another variable that you're like, wait, maybe if I wait, I buy after launch. So, can't tell you what the price is going to be, because there's always folks that want to take that information and try to trade against you. And that's exactly what we don't want. We want folks that come in and they're making a decision for a long-term investment, a multi-year strategy. So I hope that helps you a bit, and it's not probably the
Oh
answer
yeah,
you're looking for, but
that's exactly what I'm actually looking for. You guys actually encourage us to compound one day, take one day, withdraw one day. That's actually a very permanent monthly income for me. That's what I really wanted actually for a project. And you guys encourage and design this project to do it this way. It's fantastic, man.
it's good for everybody. It's good for everybody, and the other projects, people make you feel guilty if you go to the Telegram and you say, "Oh, I just sold the bag," like
Yes.
just took some profits. They want to murder you. What? We're all
Yep.
compounding. Hey, why are you going against the current? You're draining our liquidity. No, my friend, that's a recipe for destruction. You know, Investing is getting a return on your investment as soon as possible, responsibly. Responsible. That's what the system is encouraging you to do. And for those that follow that strategy, they're going to do very well. For those that want to abuse, either way, hyperclaim or hyper compounding, you're not playing by the same rules as everybody else. So the system has been built to downgrade you, take you from that 2% to the 1%. There's those variables as you can see in the system when you look at the white paper, and that's where we see people have that aha moment of like the light bulb. Wait, oh, I don't have to feel guilty. Oh, I know that I'm doing what's right for my family, putting food on the table. I can get a win. That's the way it should be. Now that we have to work hard, that we have to grow, that we have to have our mobile app coming out, and that we have to be here every night to grow the system, and to give everybody the tools, the education to understand ARK before they make a financial commitment on a long-term basis, then that's our job. That's what we're here to do. And we cannot guarantee what the results will be. It's impossible to do that. Anyone who tells you in this business guaranteed is lying. So it's really understanding our duty, our responsibility, our passion to be here, our passion to grow, because everyone on the team here is invested into the same ARK vault that you are, James, and everybody else in here. And the only way we can also earn our passive income is through the success of the whole system, of every investor playing by the same rules, playing the same game. There's some variables, there's multi-wallet strategies, there's legacy NFTs. I mean, it's so beautiful. I mean, so many ways to earn, so many ways to play, but being fair to everybody. That's hard to find. That's hard to build. And that's why I say, let's get the script out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you for your enthusiasm, man. Well, we're here to work hard for you and everybody else. And yeah, look, there is no huge rush, and we're taking everything with the safety in mind, as we touched on before. And I think the beauty of the long-term investment, I don't want anyone to feel pressured that you have to go and buy right now. Or we built it so that in 6 months from now, a year from now, we have a stable price that somebody who hears about ARK understands that he had the same opportunity as somebody that's here today. Because if that's not a fact, then they don't want to invest in here. The price of bond LP to get your reward levels is always going to be the same. The price of the NFTs, there's a limited supply, the legacy NFTs, it's the same price. If they're available 6 months, a year from now, it's going to have the same price. So if they're same barrier to entry, cost of entry, stable token price, giving out 2% on a daily basis with the option to maintain it if you reinvest or bring others, that is good today. That is good a year from now. That is good 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And if you don't build it that way, then you're not going to be able to really be attractive. And that's another problem with these systems and just tokens overall. We had a talk today with a experienced investor that was here in our VC, and I was on, and he was telling me that he only invests in the beginning. He does not invest if it's not, pre-sale, whitelist. He doesn't bring friends or family unless it's that. And there's a culture of experience. It's not that the guy's crazy or he's looking at things the wrong way. On the contrary, he's looking at things the wrong way, the right way, pardon me. Because that's the same pattern that you see in every chart, looks the same. Huge pump. Brett calls it the hockey stick. It's true. You have this huge pump, and then they all sell on you, and then you go boof, and then you have the culture, let's buy the dip. And then, that whole game, James, I'm personally tired of that. I don't want to play that game anymore. Brett doesn't want to play that. Brett's almost semi-retired. And he came here to ARK and got passionate about what he's doing here. This poor man's working so hard. I mean, it's incredible, the work that these guys are giving. Brad asks S23, Fortunate. Even Chris Dugan, man. Mark. All these guys are just so passionate about being here because we understand that we're tired of being tired of the same old game that generally a few people always win. We want everybody to win. That's the key. That's the magic. That's the game changer. And then we just have to go out there and let people know about it. Go win their hearts, go win their minds, and put all of the information, the education, so that they can sit back and make a decision. And always say, you just need a little bit. You don't need a lot. Don't get a mortgage on your house. Don't sell a kidney. You don't have to do that. But you won't get rich overnight here. And at this point, people really connect with that. Because there was a lot of folks that became very rich very fast, overnight or in hours, in crypto. But I think those days are not here right now. And we have to be smart investors. We have to think long term. I hope that helps you, James. No pressure, brother.
Definitely. I'm always looking for long term nowadays. Never look for short pump.
Smart man, especially facing retirement. I think that budgeting and really understanding, nobody knows how long they're going to live, and especially with all the medicine and great technology and cures that are coming and becoming miracles, that we could face a much longer lifespan than our ancestors. And with that ability to live longer and enjoy life, hopefully with a quality of life, there comes a responsibility of how do I afford that? Because inflation creates higher prices in real estate, and then maybe you already own your home, but then you have to pay the taxes. So now your house, if it cost 100,000 20 years ago, it's probably now worth $1 million. So now your taxes it's gone through the roof, and that that can really catch a lot of people. The cost of medicines and doctors visits, if ever any of us have to go to an assisted living facility and have somebody take care of us, I mean, the prices of that are astronomical, and they're just going to continue. So I think we need to be very mindful of our longevity and make the correct investments. I know a lot of folks invested in the stock market, 401k. I have an aunt who I talked to a couple of weeks ago, and she's very worried about her retirement because the 401k it's looking horrible. I mean, something like a 70% gone. 30 something years of working for the state, having a really nice job and a really good pension. I think like half her salary she's earning on retirement, which is absolutely fantastic, until inflation really gets a hold of you. So yeah, it's serious business, James. Very, very serious business. So I'm glad you're being mindful and budgeting and being very careful with your finances and taking these chances. Because look, you only need one really, I think, one good project to really make a difference. So that's why it's good to diversify. Put money in 10, 12, put a little amount. With a little bit in the right one and having the patience, you could do well. I've seen it happen. I know guys here, I've had 6, 7 projects go through, but they've been here for 2, 3 years. They've been for a while. And now they're looking at ARK and they're saying, this is it. I have hope here. I understand that the degen, 100x in a couple hours, it's not the time, it's not happening. And I need to protect myself. I need to protect my family. I need to be very mindful and budget myself. Be very careful. Is there anybody here that's sort of in that same situation of retirement pretty soon? And not you. Air put up his hand. You look like you're 20 years old, man. I know you're not.
Great time to retire.
Well, I mean, look, I think a lot of the young folks here with us, they have aspirations, they have dreams and goals. I think a lot of them that I've talked to hate their jobs. Some are working 9 to 5, and some are working, 18 hours, 16 hours. I was at a store the other day, and I don't know how I got into the conversation, but there was a young woman who took care of me. And on Sunday, I went there Monday. On Sunday, Google showed that store was closed. And I didn't go on Sunday. So I was like, oh, I didn't come yesterday because you guys were closed. She's like, no, we were open. I'm like, wait, but Google said you're closed. No, I work 7 days. What do you mean? Yeah, I work 7 days here. Just an example of somebody that is really, having to work very, very hard and make even that stretch a long way. Where I live, the salaries they're about 1,200 euros a month. And rents can be even like 600, 700. People are living together that they don't even like each other. People are in a relationship, a romantic relationship, so they can pay the rent together. It's serious, guys. It's serious. So I think a lot of our base is folks that are wanting to just get away from that slave sort of wage routine. The hamster on the wheel just keeps churning and churning, not going anywhere. Just getting by barely, but not really getting anywhere. And that's a big crowd right now on a global level. I mean, pick a country. It's intense. And they're looking for a chance. They're looking for an opportunity. It's our job to go out there and present it to them. I know Mark's over there talking to everybody, getting people on board. I know Chris Dugan. By the way, Chris Dugan, fantastic presentation yesterday. Man, Zeb is awesome, man. I like the way she just kind of, took over and opened up the floor and just set the tone of professionalism that you guys have at Bridge DeFi.
Yeah, she's a natural at it. We just actually got out of another one we did this evening before I came over here. Went very well. But yeah, we couldn't do it without her. She keeps us all in line, keeps us all together. She's our traffic controller. She makes sure that if we're supposed to have something turned in so that somebody else can do their job, she stays on you about it. So great.
We already took air fryer from you, so be careful, man. She's on the radar.
You'll send them home for too long.
Man, this guy's been working his ass off. Like, dude, he's been sitting in that chair for probably the last 9 hours, 10 hours, whipping up something I can't talk about, obviously, but I'm really impressed, Chris. This guy's on fire, just so laser focused. I usually, my wife, puts food and while I'm working, and he did the same thing. He sat here working on the 2, laptop computers here on my desk, and ate with me while we worked. I had meetings and stuff. So yeah, he's impressive, man.
He said the same thing about you.
You're not supposed to tell him that.
Whatever he said, it's not true.
No, ArkFi is a valuable part of our team.
Yeah, you got some real killers with you, man. She was definitely impressive. Malcolm too. First time I heard him speak, man, I was muted, letting you guys talk, and I was just screaming, to ArkFi, just take my money, Malcolm, take it. I'm ready. Dude, yeah. Very calm, cool, collected, that deep voice. It's like, dude, you could be my therapist if you want, man. I can rock with you, man. I feel very confident, very comfortable.
Yeah, we I mean, got a lot of the same philosophies as y'all do here at ARK. We'll take your money, but we want to be able to return it, tenfold back to you.
Hey, you saw how exciting it was last night. I got so excited. I sent more money in than I was supposed to.
Right. And I think we got that back to you today, actually.
Cool.
Oh, I did. I mean, she was right on it. I mean, boom, first thing this morning, I get a greeting here, the trash hashtag, and everything was good. Yeah. So super diligent with everything, and which no big deal, it was my ear, but team was awesome in getting things ready, and look forward to it.
Glad you're on board with us.
No, Florida Realtor, man. He's our resident real estate expert. And when he talks about real estate, man, I'm taking notes. I guarantee you that. Man knows his stuff. True professional and empathetic. No ego with the man. He's just all about doing the right thing and making sure his customers are happy and they're getting the best deal. So
You'll find the most successful realtors are exactly like that.
Yeah, I'm actually working on sending out my holiday cards to past clients and working on some things with that in. And you had mentioned earlier about work ethic, how important that is to to thrive and have your business grow. Um, just to give you an example how that works here, I've got a guy I know. He owns a franchise to a Chick-fil-A here locally, and he is there every single day working the drive through, working in there, everything. I mean, he's just there. He's connected. He's engaged with everything going on. And this Chick-fil-A, you can look it up. Chick-fil-A in Northwest Florida is the number one Chick-fil-A success in the United States. And that's the reason why. And we're in a small town. I mean, this isn't a big city. I mean, this is a small uh, town for that. But this guy is just his work ethic, and he knows what it takes. I mean, customers happy, and he listens to the customers, and they come in, and it's just it's great to see that type of work ethic pay off on that end.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is a great training ground for young individuals. My son worked there at one of them for a little while before he started college, and it's just such a different culture in there. When you compare it to the other fast food places, or even these small retail outlets, outlet stores and stuff like that. We had one in our county, which was actually the number one for I think the state of Georgia, and they have, the way it's set up, they had a double line that wrapped all the way around the building. And most of the time when you pulled in there, that 2 hours around lunch or the 2 hours around supper, you would basically be pulling into the entrance of the parking lot, and the line would be back that far. But within 5-10 minutes, you had your food and you were out of there. There was never a long wait, and that was one of the biggest things that they said that help with their success is having enough people to handle that kind of volume during those hours. And they just spare no expense for that. They're going to do what they need to do to get that job done better than anybody else.
That's right. I mean, and there's no politics with their organization. I mean, up front, their mission statement is on the board when you walk in. They're closed on Sundays all the way across the board. I mean, it's customer service is their main goal. That's their mission statement. With my pleasure is the motto. When they come in there and you get your stuff. I mean, everybody's just real personable and on that end. So, but yeah, that's up front. They're not like a other organization just going to sway which depending on which political party owns the organizations or whatever. They're not going to, going to push a different narrative that the owners or believe in or something on that. I mean, they're just up front. This is how they are. They're consistent, and this is it. You like it or not, you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, and it was really good to see that, his son carried on a lot of the same traditions that he established with the company to start off with. I mean, that whole company was started, well, probably about 35 miles from where I live now, but where I spent, the previous 10 years, I was probably 15 minutes from where that founder lived. And you could go to that one store that it didn't have a Chick-fil-A. I forget what, and it wasn't a Dwarf House. It was called something else. But that's where you would find him most days, if he wasn't at the corporate office. But I really thought that was going to change after he passed, and it didn't. And it just kind of showed how well he instilled those principles that they have with everybody in that corporation.
That's it. That's exactly what you just said. How it's instilled. I mean, that's just the philosophy. This is what it was built on. This was what's working. I mean, you adapt like they have. I mean, they've built out. They've made innovative um, things done to their the way they process this and that. But the character, the main philosophy, the purpose that Chick-fil-A was built on has not changed, and that's what's important. As long as your core beliefs and principles your purpose doesn't change, then that just says a lot about a person and a lot about someone's character and the way they run their business. I mean, everything has to change. I mean, you have to adapt to the way people do business and logistics and stuff like that. You have to, but long as that main core purpose doesn't change, I think that's what builds success.
Yeah, and they were, you know, hit with such a coordinated, strong attack against them for their beliefs, and you know what made them have lifelong customers was watching them not fold to that pressure. Um, they had their beliefs, they had their standards, they weren't going to compromise them, and it was just really a good lesson in how any business should conduct itself.
Let's get this crypto.
Ah, there we go. There we go. Florida Realtor stepping up. Getting that flow, man. Love it. Absolutely. Man. Great set of folks here. Mr. Quality was here with us earlier today. We had a nice little chat, man. Happy to have you here on the podcast. Do you have any questions, comments, Mr. Quality?
I'm going to take that as a no.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little late. Taking care of a DM there, guys. But yeah, T-Drip's in the house. T-Drip was at our Syndicate Founders meeting earlier today. Man, another shining star here at ARK, man. So glad this guy came over here. Remember the first day he came to the podcast and just asked some really direct but professional level questions, firm and just really wanted to understand. And I was impressed right away. So this is somebody with a great mind, knows what he's talking about, asking the right questions, ready to get this crypto. You weren't ready that first day, though.
Yeah, thanks, Atlas. I have one more hardball question for you tonight, though, if I could.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
What is the best thing on the Chick-fil-A menu?
That number one. That number one. You can't go wrong there.
All right.
It's
I
not like
live
you
in
got a lot to choose from.
Wisconsin. If you
Chicken or chicken or chicken.
Yeah, right. I live in Wisconsin, if you couldn't tell from my accent. And we just barely have Chick-fil-A here now. So I'm not schooled in the ways of Chick-fil-A.
So if any spend in getting schooled, you'll find will be well worth it.
But I almost needed a tissue after that wonderful eulogy for Chick-fil-A that you guys gave.
I mean, it just hit me, as a way that you can do business, no matter who's coming at you or who's telling you should be doing something this way when you know it's not right, and standing your ground and being honest, and just people will see that in you, and they'll see that in the people that you work with, and the people that you put together as your team, and we get further a lot faster by investing in a team like that than we do in chasing shiny objects.
Well, I totally agree, Chris. And you know what? It's in concert with what we're seeing here at ARK too, in the sense of learning the lessons from all of the others and applying them in a better way. So I agree with you.
We've been very fortunate to not to have been first. I know Atlas likes to talk about hindsight 20, and it really has made a difference in the way this protocol was put together. He mentioned earlier, you can come in big, you can come in small. The protocol is going to treat you the same way. So, it's going to be hard to find any bad players in this one, we think. We've tried to make sure of that. So,
they were they were up in arms. Me and Brett were over there at the DGen protocol. They invited us last minute, like 2 nights ago, and they were up in arms, man. Just like, man, you screwed me. I can't DGen. I am the ultimate DGen. I have 30, 50 wallets. What do we have on the bankroll? What do we have here? Man, you guys got me. Unbelievable. Yeah. Crypto Black Sheep, man, he was up in arms, and then he had this smile on his face. He's like, dude, I'm buying a platinum NFT. I have to get one. It's just so nice to see, man, that people get it, and that I think he used the words, "You've locked me out," and just the fact that he understood it. He understood this is where I need to put my money, because the conversation 2 minutes before we got to that was complaining about some of the stuff that's been going on and the unsuccessful plays.
And those guys are educated. They have their own protocol they're working on. They haven't released it yet, but so it's not like going to a lounge where you typically might do an AMA, or just jump into chat. These guys, when they're asking questions, they knew what they were talking about.
Oh yeah. they tried to figure it out, and they did figure it out, and they just figured out that they couldn't exploit. And frustration to a big old smile, because that's exactly what the industry, the space needs. You're protecting me from my own bad ways. Oh, I'm going to be on board. Because if he got it, as you said, if I can't do it, nobody can. And that's exactly. But yeah, man, a lot of respect and a lot of roses to throw at the folks that went before. Me in my personal life, I've never been the type to have to be the first. I prefer to be more reserved and just watching everybody else, and letting the guy that talks in the room, let him talk, and I'm usually quiet and just listening and understanding and learning, because you really get to see the folks that don't have the patience and the foresight cut the corners, make the mistakes, and then later have to pay for them. When I would, when I was young and I used to do like cross country running, I let people go first. Go ahead, man, take the lead. When you trip up over there, I'm not going to trip over there. I'm going to get right through that little hurdle, that hole you stepped in. And we've had the fortunate opportunity to be in a position, to be able to make those changes, and beyond that, just the creativity and innovation that's happening here. Brett's just been an all around, genius with what he cooked up, and the advisors helped, and it's a team effort, but it was really him taking the time, being an investor, being frustrated. A lot of people are frustrated, and they're holding us to a higher standard, and that's not good in a way, as you're seeing with this third round. Because of that FUD, it's landed on us. But I think it's actually the best opportunity we could have wished for, because people are understanding that whatever they're into is not really giving them the desired results, and there's a system that's come together, understanding all of those difficulties and changes and things that have had to happen just to stay alive and afloat. Sometimes it's too late, sometimes it's not, but I think that we'll be better for it. Let's get to crypto.
Atlas, I do actually have a question, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead, sir.
I think a lot of people were under the impression that the pre-sale NFTs could be deposited after the launch date, which was originally tomorrow, December 2nd. The question is, what happens if people don't get their NFTs deposited before the December 9th deadline?
Good question. Look, the narrative and the information provided to everyone here, and I've been here for every single time that we've done a podcast. I believe also everyone from the admin team has given the correct information, but I cannot guarantee that. But we've always had the initiative and the message of, we are going to close the private and pre-sale rounds, and then the next process is to deposit them into the system, because we can't leave the shore until everybody's accounted for and in the right seat or VIP suite, whichever way you want to imagine that. So all along we understood that, the contracts and the code, and that's been the message. And the idea in the case, let's say somebody, for whatever unforeseen circumstance, wasn't able to be present and put their NFT into the ARK vault, go through that process, then our plan internally here was to do it for them. And that is exactly what we'll do if there's anyone left out on December 9th. If they had a referral, we're going to use it. If they didn't, we're going to follow the procedure according to what's in that wallet and deposit it for them. And unfortunately, if that's the case, that's what we're going to have to do. We are hoping and expecting that everybody will come and do it 100%. And I think now, understanding that they're able to, after making deposits, getting their referral correctly, if it was done incorrectly, in place, we're pushing for that, to make sure that just everybody, we don't want to hear anybody crying later and saying, hey, I didn't know. So that's why you see a lot of information. We're pinning it, doing our best, and we're giving time to folks, and we're giving ourselves time too, because we want to close it out, but we also want to have enough time to do that manual process, because maybe the person shows up on the 10th or the 11th. So we'll do our best. to make sure that everyone gets in, and then those cases, if they are there, will be tech support tickets, and they'll be handled as I just explained. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So if someone wasn't, let's say, paying attention, which we know happens in these spaces sometimes, and they just, let's say it's December 15th and they haven't checked in, but they bought a pre-sale NFT. That pre-sale NFT would be deposited in the vault associated with the wallet that purchased it. Is that right?
Is that right? Correct, because they didn't purchase ARK token. They purchased the NFT, which in a sense is the placeholder for the ARK token airdrop that's going to be coming to that wallet's ARK Vault account. So it's a process that we are able to credit that account. We've already received the funds, right? We have the money for liquidity, for launch, and everything that we have to do. So our course of action is to credit them for their investment, and they should be careful, because I don't think that's an issue. I think the issue comes if you're not every 24 hours doing your strategy, you're not going to be earning the rewards. Stop. So sooner than later, they should hopefully come and wake up and come manage their investment, because they could really hurt themselves if they don't, they're not on top of it right from the get-go.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think
Yeah,
that,
thank you very much. That makes sense.
I think that's a good idea, doing it like that. There was a guy in another protocol that launched 6 months ago that is not doing very well right now. And he came, I know I was going through the chat, and he came in there and he was like, "Hey, I never deposited my NFTs into their vault. What can I do with them now?" And it was like, oh my God, you bought them and held them in your wallet and never bothered to go back and look. But basically he really has just lost his investment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's unfortunate. You have to be on top of it. Being on top. I know there was not to say names, but there was a project that had a sort of auto compounding feature, and they pinned it, but there were some people that didn't, I guess, watch and hear about it, and a couple days went by, and a few folks really had an issue, because they were counting on that auto compounding. I mean, I wish there was a way really to through their blockchain and through the wallet, like send a message directly to your wallet. You know what I mean? Like a text, "Hey, dude,
Something notification."
Yeah, like, dude, check your investment, man. This is like you're having a problem. Maybe when we roll out the mobile app, we've discussed that if there be a way to send to the mobile a notification, because we know your wallet, and through that wallet being connected to the ArkFi app, let you know, hey, you've forgotten, or we're gonna have the allocation controller available for investors, and let's say you paid for like 17 days and it's getting close, or maybe on the 15th day it's already running low because gas was more expensive than estimated. We want to be able to push out to that investor, hey, look over here, attention, look at me.
Yeah.
That's going to be kind of cool. That's kind of the solution to it.
I get notifications from Pi that I need to go back there and address something at least 3 times a week. So it is a good reminder that the DApp can be set up for that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely on the development agenda to get those push notifications out. So we got a lot of work to do. A lot of bright ideas, a lot of bright minds, and ideally, the holy grail of this is just being able to just let everything run and grow, and let the system take care of all the investors. Set up your reminders, and just be really easy too when you go out and you want to sign a buddy up as well. So looking forward to all that coming together. The process is going to be intense, but I couldn't have more faith and confidence in the team member here that's handling that. I mean, he's got over 35 coders that's all they do, build these apps. I'd probably be a little bit more concerned if it wasn't for exactly that gentleman being here with us, because it is quite an undertaking and super, super expensive to have a quality app like that. I mean, he charges like $350K to $400K for the banking and hedge fund clients. So that gives you an idea. Serious product done by serious people with a lot of experience. Anything
we've
less
got one of
civilized.
yeah. One of the projects that we have coming out on Bridge Deck or company, actually, it's an existing successful company, and they're coming under Bridge Deck to actually raise the funds to build out their own DApp on it. They're looking at a $500,000 cost just to get that DApp working the way they'll need it to.
All right, and we're back. Man, all that talk of Chick-fil-A got me hungry. We had a really good dinner. Yeah.
Number one, I hear, Atlas.
Yeah, they have those in Florida. I've had the Chick-fil-A. Down in Miami, there's one that, man, I was obsessed about for a while, because they do really kind of home cooked Caribbean, sort of Latin Caribbean food. It's a fast food place. Grilled chicken. They've got 80, 90 chickens on a huge grill, just grilling there. And they've got black beans and rice and salad. Very basic, very tasty stuff. And there's just a line.
That's a different menu than we have around here.
Yeah. But it's just incredible, man, because it's just a hearty, clean meal. The people that exercise and go to the gyms, they could eat there perfectly, get their protein, their vegetables, super clean food, and flavorful and really, really balanced. And that it's called Pollo Tropical. It's supposed to be Caribbean sort of themed, but it works good for the Latin community as well.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Quality, just so you know, that actually is just their basic chicken sandwich. But it's what they built that whole company on.
I'm a fan of the spicy chicken myself.
You're not going to go wrong.
All right, folks, do we have any other questions or comments as we come down to the close? We're about an hour and 30 minutes into the podcast this evening. And I personally have still a lot of work to get done. So without further ado, folks, thank you for coming to the ARK Podcast this evening. I hope that the conversation, the updates that we gave for those of you folks that weren't here present or listening at a later date, that you were able to get the information you were looking for. And I thank everybody that was here with us for attending and being a part of this fantastic project, this great family that's really coming together in an exceptional manner. Couldn't be prouder the team, of the community, and just the patience and the passion that we're hearing from folks like James. Great conversation with him today. So I wish you all a wonderful evening. Rest well, and we'll be back tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting day for us as we will have at 5 p.m. UTC, 12 p.m. EST, the availability for getting those referrals taken care of and making sure that everybody is able to really set themselves up here in the fashion that they want, so that they can get the most out of it and win. Let's get the script. Have a good night.